If you're new to forms and didn't watch my previous clip, you may want to go back to that one so you can see where I'm picking up from there. So we're back in the volunteer form demo, and we're looking again at settings. So if we look at the settings, again, I showed you, probably go ahead and do the collect email addresses. Don't do what I did initially in that other video. I would probably do one response. I showed you, you send people a copy of their answer. You allow for editing, unless, of course, it's a quiz, something where you only can have something once. You could do something where you have a sign-in to only allow for one. I don't know that you necessarily need that if you're doing something like a volunteer form and people are getting their answers and they have the option to change it. So these other things you really don't need. You don't need to have a progress form again, or excuse me, a progress bar. Remember, don't require questions that aren't required, and don't ask questions you don't need. If people are asked for pages and pages of information, or it's an initial volunteer screening form, you could lose some people if you're making it hard for them to inquire about you. I would go ahead and do a confirmation message. So the default message is just, we've received your response. I don't think that's very helpful. Maybe something like, let's see, thank you for your interest in volunteering. We will be in touch within 3 business days, right? So this way people know what's going to happen next. So go ahead, and I went ahead and saved that. You're not going to submit another response. It's just this one. I would not share the results summary. So if you were to share this, what happens is that everyone can see everyone else's response. If it were an anonymous survey that you're collecting data that you do want to share community-wide, you can do that. But if you were, again, a volunteer form, and I say review results summary, and everyone sees that, then everyone can see everyone's contact information, email, phone, etc. So don't do that. And then, so we go on and we're all set here. Now you're ready to send the form out. So again, I showed you with send, you can go ahead and just get a link. So you have the link, and I'm going to go ahead and open an incognito browser so it doesn't see me as the form creator. So I'll come to open the form. So now I am seeing this as a prospective volunteer. So either you've sent this to me in your email newsletter, or maybe I went to your website and got a link, and now I'm going to go ahead and send information. So I'm going to just go ahead and put a fake email so, I don't have people sending me a bunch of stuff. Okay, so Google knows that's not a real email, blah, 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 blah.com. My name, Tina Arnoldi. Now you can see here, remember in the previous video, I showed you required and not required fields. If you did not require a phone number, but you had that a required field, this is where people would get annoyed. Like, why are they forcing us if they don't need it? However, oftentimes for volunteers, you do want an email and a phone number. And if it's not required, people can skip that. They can choose to put something in there or not. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that blank, because that's how the form was sent, is that it's not required. Now here I realized availability also was not a required field, which doesn't make sense. For a volunteer form, you want to know when your volunteers are available. And so for right now, I just have basic information. You would probably want more, such as time of day. But again, I'm showing you just a very simple form. So when I go ahead, I say submit. And what it's telling me, again, I'm doing this as the volunteer, and it's saying, thank you for your interest. We'll be in touch in 3 days. And that's the message I showed you on the previous screen. Or I can say, I want to edit. And again, if this were in a real email, and my apologies to someone this is your email address and you're getting an email, you would have received the confirmation. So let me close the incognito, and I will come back. Okay, changes won't be saved. So let's go ahead and say leave. Now I'm coming back to the form as the form owner. And when I come here to responses, I see this is the information that I just answered. You can see that through here. What you'll want to do, so this is nice, maybe as a response, one question at a time, or one recipient at a time, you want to see what kind of answers there are. But what's going to be more helpful is, as answers come in, is to have them all where you can view them in a spreadsheet. It not only makes it easier for your data management, but also if you need to share this information with a team. So I'm going to say create the spreadsheet. It's going to go ahead and default to the name of my form. So I'll go ahead and I will say create that. And now I am looking at the form responses. And you can see this is the real beauty of why you might want to do this rather than have a PDF and Excel sheets and etc. It's always going to be up to date. So you can see this is when the person who entered the form most recently, okay, I spelled my own name wrong. I'd like to say this was intentional, but it was not. But it does show you that now that this information has been received, you can go ahead and correct it. You can make a change, or if you want to add some information, etc. But this is the answers as they come in. So 2 more things I want to show you on the screen before I go is you can go ahead and share it. So right now, as the form creator, I am the only one who can see it. May not be ideal. If I work with a group, I can share it. I can allow them to view it, to edit it, and you do that through share. The other thing you would probably want to do is you want to have the notification settings. And then when you go to your notification settings, you can choose to get notified anytime someone submits a form or change a form. So it's up to you what's important. Then you can also say, I want to be notified right away, or just a daily digest, right? So if you're eager to get forms and they kind of trickle in, you might want to get something right away so you can attend to it immediately. If you get a zillion of these and that would be annoying, then you can just go ahead and say, I want a daily digest. You could also choose to not get a notification and come in and check for forms. I wouldn't really recommend that. I think it's a good idea to know when something's coming in, but again, that's up to you. And then so now you have your sheet that you can work with it, you can share it with your team, and you're not typing in information from PDFs anymore.